Thank you, Secretary Ermita. Dr. Alfonso Uy, your new President, Dr. John Tan, Honorary President, Secretary Favila, officers and members of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry, of course led by Alfonso Yu, welcome to the new set of officers. And to the immediate past officers, headed by Dr. John Tan, thank you for your service to the Federation and the nation. I am happy that in Dr. Tan's time, and now in Dr. Wee's time, the Federation continued to share our enthusiasm among many other projects for improving the quality of education of our youth, particularly through your donation of so many classrooms. I was a teacher, so pardon my partiality for the teaching profession. That is why I have invested so much in education, skills development, and training. And that is why I appreciate the Federation's contributions to education among your many other contributions to so many other areas of Philippine society. Your contributions were part of the 87,000 classrooms that we built during my administration. And to fill up those classrooms, our pupil-teacher ratio is now 1:36 for elementary schools and 1:39 for secondary schools, because our administration created 60,000 teacher items from 2001 to 2008. And to make these teachers good and better, we allocated 1.5 billion pesos for teacher training, especially for 107,000 English teachers. And early in my term, we revised the basic curriculum to emphasize English. One of the most difficult Millennium Development Goals is education for all, meaning universal primary education by 2015. Most countries will not achieve it, but we are trying. We cut the cost of going to school by building more classrooms nearer to homes, and you helped so much in that. Also, we stopped the collection of miscellaneous fees for primary school and declared school uniforms optional. Our administration provides assistance, government assistance, to now 47% of students in private high schools. Maybe that is why national achievement tests showed trends towards mastery. In education, in technical education and skills training, our 27 billion pesos is more than 3 times that of 3 previous administrations combined. We have provided 600,000 college and postgraduate scholarships. The Presidential Task Force on Education, headed by Jesuit educator Father Bienvenido Nevres, which has interacted very much with leaders of your federation, has come out with a Philippine main education highway towards a knowledge-based economy. It envisions seamless education, from basic education, covering preschool, grade school, and high school, and on to vocational schools or colleges. It recommends a restoration of compulsory scholastic aptitude tests for college admission. For professions seeking international recognition, engineering, accountancy, architecture, pharmacy, and physical therapy, it recommends radical reform. 10 years of basic education, and then 2 years of pre-university before 3 years of university. The task force identifies career, job, entrepreneurship, and lifelong learning as goals for the education highway. Our educational system, indeed, should make the Filipino fit, not just for whatever jobs happen to be on offer today, but also for whatever economic challenge life will throw them. So again, I thank the Federation for contributing to these goals. But aside from the school buildings, the list of programs you have supported is very long. You have sponsored volunteer fire brigades, possibly the best ones in the country, regular campaign fund campaigns for the victims of calamities, mobile clinics, and many other programs. And I thank the Federation for this morning's 3 million check donation for the National Youth Service Corps. I want to pay you back tenfold. So, I will give you a 36 million peso donation for your school buildings. I just asked that among these school buildings you will build, if you could begin to build the beginnings of a high school in the last 2 remaining towns in our country which still have no public high schools. The past 12 months, you know more than me because you're businessmen, have been a year for the history books. Financial meltdown spread throughout the world. Financial systems in the West shattered. Even conservative financial systems in the East were shaken to their foundations. Grand names in international finance fell into disrepute and vanished overnight. Tens of millions have lost their jobs. Billions across the globe have been hurt. The poor always harder than the rich. But it has affected us already. But the headline story of the Philippines in 2008, and I believe it is you who can attest to this, is that the country decently survived a succession of global crises in fuel, then food, then financial, and finally economic, keeping economic fundamentals strong and not losing focus. To work and to lead, to protect and to preserve our country and our people, that is why I became president, with the support of many of you, including our new president now in Iloilo. When my father, who was also very close to your federation, left the presidency, the Philippines was second to Japan. I like to recall how close he was to your federation. At that time, the head of your group was Antonio Rojas Chua, the grandfather of my cabinet member now, Ray Anthony Rojas Chua. Well, of course, in your present leadership, you also have the father of Secretary R.T. Yap. So, we continue our family friendship. Anyway, speaking of my father, I share his vision. If not second to the best, then a vision of a republic ready to join the first world in 20 years. Towards that vision, we made key reforms, difficult reforms, unpopular reforms, but always supported by your federation. So I want to use this occasion to thank you, members of the FFCCCII, our biggest and most influential Filipino-Chinese group, for sharing our vision, for supporting our reforms, and for working hard to attain the Filipino dream. I have no doubt that your new officers will continue the Federation's tradition of providing support for the programs of government. So once again, thank you, Johnny and your team, and congratulations, Alfonso and the incoming officers. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat.